We are live. We are listening to a podcast as well.
It's controlled by the Ethereum blockchain.
But if a bank owns 51% of the chain, then, or if a cabal of people owns 51% of it, it's not likely, but it is a possibility. And I think we should resolve every contingency when we're planning a future global currency. Like, if it can be done, it may very well be done. So we should watch out for people taking control of the nodes.
You can track everybody, you know, with Bitcoin. I believe the Ethereum chain, it's all publicly available as well, right? All the transactions.
Yeah, on Etherscan.
Yep.
I went to, I bring this up often when we talk about crypto. I went to Davos several years ago, and crypto was the theme. I wasn't in the actual World Economic Forum. In the city of Davos, everybody shows up and then tries to suck all the teat of the World Economic Forum outside of it. They're like, look at me, I want to be part of your thing. But there's pop-ups everywhere. Bars, clubs, partying, and people do their mini events in the periphery, and crypto was it. Everyone was like, this is the future, this is what we're doing. Since then, I've been telling people like, yo, the World Economic Forum types, they love crypto. They want that. I mean, think about what Bitcoin is. It's arguably a global currency. It comes out, they get all the right-wing nut jobs, start using it and cheering for it. They all become rich overnight. This sings the praises of it, and all of a sudden they're like, this is our way out of the machine. And the machine is just like, ooh, we love that everyone's adopting this universal digital currency that can track every move you make.
Another reason why the World Economic Forum and the global monetary system doesn't like Bitcoin, but they prefer Ethereum, is because Bitcoin's energy intensive. The mining process requires that you have a GPU plugged into a wall. It's burning a lot of coal or whatever your power. Whereas the proof of stake stuff, it's just the digital code on some node somewhere is just repopulating and adding new gain. You know, it doesn't require any mining electricity. It's just like in this program in the net. The problem is if the power goes out, then none of it's worth anything.
Right, I was going to ask, if the power goes out, what are we going to do?
Yeah, when I asked that question to a group of developers, it's stunned silence.
You put the blockchain on you know, the smoke signal, and that's how you transfer the
I promise. That's how much I had.
You send the private key, and then you send the public key, and then bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
When everyone can see your private key. There it is.
It's true.
I think cash, you got to maintain cash.
Well, we have dealt with that problem at Fortitude Ranch because we do have a cryptocurrency. It's called the Fortitude. This is a fake one, not the real one. It's an ERC20 token, runs on the Ethereum blockchain. You can use our tokens to buy membership. But what happens if, you know, the grid goes down, there's no Ethereum blockchain, you can't use them. So if you want, you can say, hey, you know, I'm the one who bought these Fortitude tokens. I'll put it on my spreadsheet on my computer I keep offline, and if the grid's down but you can still contact me, I know that you own 15 Fortitudes and you are entitled to join Fortitude Ranch. Because when the shit hits the fan for Fortitude Ranch and everyone wants to join, we've got a page ready to come up on our website that says we're no longer accepting cash memberships. You can only join with Fortitude tokens, because people have bought them in the past. Part of the allure is if you own Fortitudes, you're not a member of Fortitude Ranch, but we will give you priority to join over the spot.
Is it
We've been selling them for that.
Is there any kind of like thing on there where I can scan it and it'll bring up my Fortitude?
Not on this. This is completely a trinket, you know, for show. But yeah, it's a normal ERC20 token. So you can see it on the blockchain if you just search for Fortitudes. FRT is a hard to find.
FRT. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm going to go to coinmarketcap.com and look up the FRT.
But we're
right
not
now.
widely traded at all.
I see.
It was
Ferret.
a small issue.
Fertilizer.
The company owns most of the tokens. We have people who bought them, one, to join, and then some have bought them as investments.
You couldn't get FRC, Fortitude Ranch currency, or
Nah, Fortitude is the name we use.
Fortitude Ranch?
You know,
All right,
so
everybody.
I'll give this one here to you.
Oh, yeah, cool.
In Fort's blockchain and individual freedom we trust.
Oh, cool. Slide it over. That's very cool. All right, everybody, if you haven't already, smash that like button. We're going to go to Super Chats now. So smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show, become a member at timcast.com. We're going to have that members-only show up at 11 p.m. But we're going to read now your Super Chats. We got Hunter. It says, B corporations, part of the stakeholder economy, help make sure that your money is going to the local economy and fight shareholder primacy. It also ties the mission statements to the corporation, even with other owners' investment.
Yeah, you could, like, that's what I was talking about, like, nodes, like 10 miles away where, like, 10,000 people are hosting their money. Then you could withdraw taxes from the node to finance surrounding projects and stuff. localized taxing and things like that.
Interesting. Helicon Drummer says, switch Timcast account from PayPal today. My understanding is their fines could also be used against anyone purchasing firearms or related items. I don't. Did you see that? I
Well,
think
you
I saw
can't-
something like that.
Yeah, you can't use PayPal to buy anything related to firearms already. So they already have an anti-firearm policy.
And PayPal.
Yeah.
But this is why it was like a year ago. We were like, we need to find a way to get rid of PayPal. And
PayPal
then-
doesnent want you defending yourself as they steal money from you. Sorry, maybe that's why they banned firearms. No? Sorry.
Kintara Bella says, wild, switching to parallel Rumble. Use your voice. Dollars. That's right. So we put everything up on Rumble, and I'm really, look, it's really cool. We've got, I think Timcast IRL has like 300,000 subscribers on Rumble, and my Timcast channel has like 300,000, I think, as well. My Tim Pool channel doesn't, so we're moving that segment over to the Timcast one where most of the subscribers are. But it's cool to see that there's actually some rivaling happening to YouTube. The fact that I've got hundreds of thousands of subs on this platform is making it a viable platform to YouTube. If YouTube wants to win 30 games, the market shall provide. And so it seems. Not a guarantee, it's not the best, but, But that being said, that's why we use parallel economy. Shout out Dan Bongino, who I think is doing more than most when it comes to actually building a parallel economy and pushing back on the censorship, because Rumble and parallel economy are huge. I think, here's what we need. We got a brick and mortar location coming soon for something. It's going to be a hangout venue, club games. I'm hoping that Parallel Economy can actually set up pay terminals so that we can use them for our general payment processing as well, because we need stores to start doing that stuff. Then you can't get silenced, censored, or shut down for what your business is. And if you use the Public Square app, which will show you a list of businesses that support American values, all of those businesses should also be using Parallel Economy.
I just got this in. PayPal, this is from Bloomberg. PayPal has no intention to fine customers over misinformation.
Yeah, they walked back the policy.
Oh, yeah, now they're just saying
Right.
they never intended it to begin with.
So
right?
it was an error.
It's official, yes.
Well, so I gotta say this then. The loss of money I've incurred from people canceling their accounts is PayPal gonna pay damages for that? They admitted it was an error. This wasn't a policy change they can claim they're allowed to make. This was them publishing false information, which caused pain and suffering damages to all of these businesses. So maybe, I don't know. Gotta talk to a lawyer.
I mean, what did they lose? 5%, 6% of their value in one day?
We lost a lot of members. So here's what happens. There are people who have signed up to Timcast.com using PayPal. These are people who are probably not super fans of the show, but they're fans enough to be like, yeah, I'll sign up, I'll support the guy. Yeah, here you go. But they don't watch every episode. They don't really pay attention that much. When they cancel their account, they don't come back to the website and re-sign up. Those are customers that we have to try and email and ask, be like, hey, did you still want to be a member? So when we lose that money because PayPal published a false statement, I think they're responsible and they should have to pay the damages to every single business because of that error. You don't get to if you're a repairman and you're coming to fix my window and then you break it, you got to pay for it. I'm not paying for that. PayPal busted up the system and now it's costing customers. That's their fault.
Yeah, it's like a venue. If you're putting on a show and the one day the venue's like, and we're not letting anyone in that isn't 6'7" or has green hair or didn't get their vaccine, then you as like a performer that has tickets bought and then you lose all this money on your tickets, all these refunds, you can probably go after the venue for that.
That's a way better analogy. You book a show at a venue, people are buying tickets, and the venue comes out and announces they're taking everyone's tickets away at their own discretion, so people rip their tickets up and leave and demand refunds. And now I'm left with no money because the venue comes out and says, no, that wasn't a real statement, that was fake. And I'm like, okay, well, now that my show's ruined and my business has been destroyed because of what you just did, you got to pay.
Yeah, at least what, class action? Is that the way you would go? All the people harmed by would
class action, I think, is always a bad idea. The only person who wins class action is the lawyer. Yep. All right. President Irina Vladimirovna says, one of the things related to the World Economic Forum you will own nothing shtick that I don't see many people talking about is the insane amount of subscription-based services like Spotify. I recently bought a custom Zune, so all of my music is kept offline and safe. Good idea, because people are buying their way into communism. Everything is becoming subscription. I go on Amazon and I'm like, I need coconut water, and it's like, and the default, subscribe. The default is not to buy a case, it's to subscribe to coconut water. I'm not subscribing to that. When we run out, I'll buy more. I guess we should subscribe. I don't know. We have a subscription to toilet paper. We do. It's bamboo toilet paper though. And so once a month we get a thing, like we have 30 employees, we have this, 12,000 square foot facility. So we gotta keep the bathroom stocked up. So we bought a subscription. Everything's gonna be that. It's this automated subscription processing. And then in 20 years, when Amazon owns every single business, you will have a subscription to Amazon for your services, and you won't realize it, but you will have bought your way into
The
communism.
tactic is like, we'll give you 10% off if you subscribe for a monthly purchase, and then when you forget that you're subscribed that one extra month, it pays off the 10% gain that you had, and they're just hoping people forget. And that's the danger for businesses, is it's good to have an accountant going through all the order lists every time every month, so that you're not accidentally ordering things you don't need.
All right. Cabo Rojo says, Tim and Co., you inspired us to go all in on fighting the culture war through music. Just released The Reckoning by Single Grain of Sand. Definitely see the value. Is speaking truth via music. Only on Rumble. Half of the GP goes to 1.16 prisoners. Cool. Glad to hear it. Troy Dunham had a huge debate this weekend with family over Biden's invention of the term next nalrescent. I couldn't find video evidence anywhere. Please confirm and provide any sources or context. They were also dubious of Batacalf care, but I did find that one. There was a video I saw, it may have been Nuance Bro, I'm not sure, where, I can't remember who it was. They went over the Joe Biden's new language, and they showed all the clips, next nalrescent, Batacalf care. But I mean, just show them Trunin on a shot of pressure. Come on. Show them, I'll start with 2 words. Made in America. And then be like, come on, it's 3 words.
Lauren Boebert tweeted out, I have 2 words, let's go Brandon. And everyone's like, she's such an idiot. She said 2 words and she said 3. What an idiot. But they didn't know that Biden did that, I guess.
And that's the point.
Yeah, she was trolling.
But what she did, whether on purpose or not, perfectly exposed the cult. These people don't even listen to the president they voted for speaking. We, as people, I don't know who you voted for, but we're people who are no fans of Joe Biden. I'm assuming you, Serge, too. But we watch his speeches. And so when he says it, we all watch it happen. Mm-hmm. When he says Trinidad Shabbat of pressure, we're all talking about it like, did you see what just happened? All of these people like George Takei, David Hogg, these other guys, they don't even watch him. And they voted for him. And then when we come out and we're like, look how crazy he is, they go, you're so dumb. It's like, what? How are you supposed to negotiate with a group of people that are like that? When they're just like, I don't know, I don't care, I won't watch him, and you're dumb. It's like,
what do you do?
Okay.
Like, you were in the military. I don't know if you worked with conflict resolution much, but like, if you're up against like the Taliban, how do you end up negotiating? You just take one of their leaders and you give them a lucrative bribe to negotiate with the entire group?
The military doesn't really get into the negotiation. It's supposed to be the State Department handling that, so.
Yeah, the U.S. military doesn't de-escalate.
All right, let's read more. We got Mit4Mo2. Says, Happy Columbus Day. Happy Columbus Day indeed. Today's the day we celebrate when a bunch of Europeans figured out there was another part of the planet.
Dude, Spike Cohen tweeted out the history of Columbus Day. It was like in the late 1800s, there was this abusive lynching of a bunch of Irish Americans. So then William Henry Harrison was like, you know what? No. We'll make a day after the Italian adventurer was for Columbus. Yay, now it's not so bad what they did to you Italians. And then it was in like the 1930s that there was all this anti-Italian American sentiment because of the war and Mussolini's Italy. So they were just persecuted again. And then it was FDR was like, we're officially making Columbus Day a holiday to appease you.
All right, let's read this one. 1-2 says, what information do you have Putin is losing? My info says otherwise. Plus, he took 20% of the country. Why would Saudi Arabia get on the side with Russia if they were losing?
Well, for Saudi Arabia, it's like less Russia than Iran. But, the U.S. has not been holding Iran back from their nuclear weapons program, and there's a lot of concern that Saudis are worried about that. But they want oil prices to go up, and Russia's helping them on that. So they're playing their economic interests, and Iran is an ally of Russia, and they're doing what they got to do to protect their own self-interest.
All right. Well, I'll just add to that. You got to choose who you trust. I mean, I think it's fair to say that Putin is losing simply because he's fighting NATO. He's fighting all of NATO. We're supplying weapons, intelligence. We've got volunteer ground forces, but now we have confirmed special operations on the ground. Germany's providing air defense. Biden's going to be sending air defense. So when the news reports come out and they're like, Putin's forces are routed and retreating, I'm like, he's fighting like a military alliance. So it's reasonable to me to assume. Granted, I do think it's all propaganda. And I think Russia's probably doing better in certain areas than you'd ever find out, because they're not going to come out and be like, yes, all of our troops are losing, now let's go and fight more. Right. They need to justify why the money needs to be sent there. And so Putin has to be doing well enough that they need the money, but not so well it's a lost cause.
Do you have any other kind of intelligence or assessments to why Russia is losing?
Well, their troops aren't fighting well. They're just not motivated compared to the Ukrainians. I mean, why did the Russians fight so well in World War II? Germany was invading their territory and killing them off. They're now invading Ukraine, and they're not doing well. And they've not been doing well. They've been suffering high casualties. They are definitely losing the war, losing territory, and the mobilization going on is not being well received in the country. And they're not mobilizing. I was a reservist and an air guard person. When you mobilize us, we're ready to go. The troops they're trying to mobilize are conscripts. They got to train them. They got to equip them. It's going to be a long time for them to build that force up, and it's not a ready-to-go force. And they're going to continue to go badly, which is why the risk of them escalating to nuclear weapons use or some other retaliation against us, like a bio attack, is very real now.
All right, insert name here says YouTube is giving 0 TP notifications now. I have to deliberately search for you. Also, shameless plug for my friend who released a poetry book, Our Little Black Book by Ren Ivy, for some distraction. And Almost Last Jedi says YouTube have reached a new low. As well as not getting notifications, I got unsubscribed today. Wonder why I couldn't find the live stream. And today was one of those days where Ian reminded me at the last minute, the thumbnail doesn't go up. When we launch the live stream, the thumbnail is gray block. And I have to immediately then re-upload the thumbnail. Otherwise, people scrolling through don't see it and they wonder why it is they're not seeing it. It's because YouTube is playing dirty games. So, be the notification you want to see in the world. Every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. we are live at youtube.com/timcastirl/live. You can just take that and you can post it and share it wherever, or use the actual direct URL at the top of the video and share it. You can also listen on iTunes and Spotify and all the other podcast platforms too, because we do post it there at night as well. Let's read some more super chats. Let's see what you got, guys. All right, let's see. We'll grab a good one, kind of a good question. AJ Cook says, your guest is a nice guy, I'm sure, but his opinions on Russia are cringe CIA MI6 propaganda. Ask Russians with attitude to recommend a guest who can comment intelligently on their side of the story, like Armchair Warlord. I would just say it's who you trust. It sounds like you trust the government, you trust the United States and the media reporting here.
No, I trust them in terms of biological weapons programs. I don't think we're developing biological weapons. And, let me put it in a way that people who don't trust government might understand better. Like, for example, the preparedness committee, a lot of people say, oh, FEMA's going to do concentration against Americans. And that's been out there a lot, and it's absolute nonsense. The people who work for FEMA are largely good people. And if there was some massive conspiracy of FEMA concentration camps, if there was some program where the U.S. is secretly developing biological weapons, a lot of people would have to be involved in doing that, and the secret would eventually get out. If we had a biological weapons program, you would know about it. It would be leaked. You don't have a lot of faith in the confidence of people in government, then why would you think that they can carry out some vast conspiracy, some brilliant conspiracy, and keep it secret? They're not that capable. They can't do it.
Project
so whether you trust them or not, the truth is, there is no FEMA concentration camp conspiracy like some people think, and there is no biological weapons program that the United States has. If there was, it would leak.
But when it comes to the war with the war in Ukraine, why assume that the reporting coming out is good? If we think the U.S. government isn't capable of these kind of organizational feats, then why would I assume that there's any effective intelligence or armaments happening or honest reporting as it pertains to Ukraine? I mean, I'll put it this way: there's no way Ukraine wins this war if NATO wasn't backing them. They would have been steamrolled in 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. The U.S. is clearly involved. So why should I believe?
We are involved in the war. We are supporting Ukraine. There's no doubt.
No, yeah, right. So why should I assume that the U.S. doesn't have the capabilities of this level of organization? And arguably, if they're winning in Ukraine, they're actively doing it.
I'm sorry, I don't follow that.
If the argument is that the U.S. can't operate, the government doesn't have the capability to operate, say, camps that they would use to bring people to in the event of some kind of crisis or catastrophe, then I mean, you're assuming the government is incapable
I'm
of
saying
doing
there is
something.
no FEMA plan in a kind of collapse situation to round up Americans and put them in concentration camps. There is no plan that we're going to invite in United Nations troops to take over the country.
No, sure.
You hear nonsense like this all the time, and even if it's legitimate, even if you believe it might be true, you probably don't trust government officials, so you shouldn't trust that there is a capability for them to, one, organize something like this, and then two, to carry it out and to keep it secret. So don't worry about ridiculous sounding government conspiracy theories. They're not true. They're probably not true. Probably not true.
I just had a conniption. I respectfully, absolutely, 100% disagree. They lied about the Vietnam War, the Gulf War I, Gulf War II, Libya, Syria, Afghanistan. They lied about so much.
Gulf of
Why would they
Tonkin.
not be lying now? And I think it's best to be skeptical of government and to quote
I'm
and to
absolutely
just
skeptical
quote
of government.
Ronald Reagan here. I think the most terrifying words on the planet are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
Now, I'm not criticizing government throughout your program. The avian flu research that was not so much that it was done, the fact that they published it. That's what bothered me the most about it. Was publishing the how do you make avian flu, mammal to mammal, ferrets and their research, but human to human transmission. So I'm not a huge fan of government, but the conspiracy theories of, hey, we've got FEMA concentration camps are in the war, our United Nations troops are going to be invited in to take over the country, or that we're developing biological weapons.
Was it a conspiracy?
real
Was it a
threats
conspiracy when
to
the
worry
United
about.
States interned Japanese people? And stuff?
No, they absolutely
But that
did.
happened
That's
before.
historical fact.
So why would you say it's impossible to happen when it happened before?
I'm saying there is no FEMA program to set up concentration camps against Americans or to bring in United Nations troops. I run into people who believe that, and it's just nonsense. What you ought to believe in is real threats, like Russia using nuclear weapons, like a biological agent, like human-to-human transmissible
Like
agents.
governments
There's
flying
enough
us into a
real
war.
stuff to
Right,
worry
but
about
you're-
without inventing false government conspiracies.
But so but you're doing two things I disagree with. The first is bringing the UN into it is sort of like a straw man. Like obviously
I
that's
hear that.
for sure. But
I
from
mean,
a-
there's posters you find in Nebraska and Texas about UN
well, let's
coming in.
steel man it. Luke is right. The U.S. has interned people before. They have the capability to do so. They have the facilities to do so.
Well, they have 1.5 million Americans locked up right now.
So the issue is
They created
so
bioweapons.
you've done two. You're doing the two things I disagree with. One is incorporating the UN into it, but the other is now I'm losing my train of thought on this one. I've lost it. Luke, what's going on?
You can't just believe the government blindly because the government
right.
has
Believe
been.
them blind.
Well, no, I got it back. The idea that they have a plan for it is another mistake. They have the capability to do it. They have the facilities to do it. If something bad happened, George W. Bush already signed National Security Presidential Directive 51, meaning they have the intention to do it if they so wanted. So it's all there. I mean, you can say the UN thing is a conspiracy, and I'll just say, yeah, I don't know anything about that. That seems ridiculous. Why would the UN troops come in here? They don't need it. But to say that the U.S. doesn't have a plan for it, perhaps, but they've expressed intent if need be, the facilities and the individuals if they need be. The conspiracy is always the intent. I don't know that intent exists. I don't think the ability does.
So the president changed quite a few times since George Bush. So you're saying that somehow during all these presidential changes of people, absolutely hate each other, but yet they managed to keep this conspiracy or this
No,
plan of
hold
doing
on.
this horrible
National
thing going?
Security
It just
Presidential Directive
doesn't make
51 is
sense.
an executive order that does exist and was updated by Barack Obama.
And says exactly what?
In the event of a catastrophic loss of life or damage to the U.S. that as the result of an incident that occurs anywhere on the planet, the president has the authority to essentially introduce a new government to supersede the current one, a new constitutional government, and create a national continuity coordinator who would oversee the new mono government that exists.
Well, they do have that. They do have continuity. of
Right.
government as a top
Now,
priority. I agree with
the
that.
point is, this executive order exists. The president this was in 2007, I believe, asserted the authority to basically overwrite existing law due to a major emergency and the need for continuity of government. It's been challenged because people say it's never been challenged. The challenge to it is that it's never actually faced Supreme Court scrutiny, so they don't think it would fly. However, in the event of a catastrophic event affecting the government, who's going to bring it to the Supreme Court? The point is, Barack Obama updated it. It is a component of the federal government and the executive branch, although many people do challenge its authority. There are internment facilities. I mean, you've got prisons, you've got them all over the place, and you've got other large open, I don't know what these are for, but like storage facilities, warehouses, etc. And the U.S. government has interned people before. I'm not saying there's a conspiracy to do it. I'm not saying there's a plan to do it. My issue is there doesn't need to be. There is the intention for the government to wipe out people's laws, wipe out the laws, enforce a new law at their own discretion to remove undesirables. There's the capability to do it, and there are the facilities to do it. So if people are concerned it may happen, look, if somebody, is stacking up dynamite in front of a building and they say, don't worry, we have no intention of blowing it up, and they're lining the building with it, and they're like, I've got a real concern you might do that. They can be like, nobody here wants to do that. There's no plan to do that. We have done it before, but we're not doing it now. Don't be surprised when people freak out and think you're going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever heard of the Tuskegee experiments when the U.S. government, knowingly hurt people? They were doing scientific biological experiments on unsuspecting human beings. The CIA did that with MK Ultra. They hurt and punished and poisoned people. The U.S. government even spread radioactive waste inside of the United States. There's historical documented cases of the government doing large biological testing, especially even with radiation on unsuspecting American public. So why would you ever believe that is not ever possible ever again?
It's not what I said. I didn't say it's not ever possible again. I said in answer to your question, no. The U.S. does not have biological weapons programs now, and I don't believe we do have biological weapons programs now. If we did, it would be illegal, and it would probably be leaked because you wouldn't be able to keep it secret. So I'm not worried about illegal.
The government never does anything illegal?
So let me ask, so the biological research facilities in Ukraine that the U.S. is desperate to defend, they're doing gain-of-function research there.
They admitted that, yes.
So they're making viruses more dangerous.
Maybe. I don't know the specifics of what they were doing there. But
that's what gain-of-function means.
Yeah. You can make them more dangerous because you got to develop defenses to them. So you
can the pathogens they were experimenting on be used as weapons?
Yes, they could.
So it's semantics to argue there's no biological weapons.
And optimistic
that's like
thinking.
Saying the United States could use nuclear weapons to destroy their own states and cities. Yeah, theoretically you could. It's not really.
No, that's not. I'm saying that it would be like the U.S. is building nuclear bombs and saying, but they're not weapons. They're for mining. And it's like, okay, well, can the bomb be dropped on a city? Sure. But it's not a weapon. It's like, look, you can make a padlock into a weapon. So it's a semantic argument. I'll absolutely concede. Officially on paper, there's no biological weapons, being made. But if they're making viruses more dangerous, those can easily be weaponized, and it's just a semantic argument.
Yeah. And have you ever heard of Agent Orange?
Very much so. I wrote the official Air Force history of the disposal of Agent Orange.
Well, that should tell you that the government is capable of poisoning and using bioweapons on large populations of people.
Let's read a couple more super chats. We got Lone Wolf 36S. He says, Ethereum 2.0 just came out. It's already controlled. It's now impossible to mine it.
Well, it's not controlled. It's a new proof of stake method. They're not doing the mining anymore. They just changed it.
Yeah, you can still mine Ethereum 1.
Pioneer Smokehouse's channel says AWS controls the nodes now. They moved electric use from miners to AWS, and they can stop at any time.
It's very concerning.
I read that, and I didn't know if it was true or not. Is that they're using AWS?
I don't know who to confirm it with. It's so new. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's true.
Bro, it's going to be Amazon,
Centralization of the ownership of the direction of your money, man.
Jeff Bezos. He's going to sell you everything you need. They're already doing it. They're going to Amazon. What doesn't Amazon
get a discount
own Whole Foods?
if your Ethereum's already in the Amazon account? You'll get a discount on Amazon products. Host on our node.
Yeah, Amazon literally has stores. They have a new store opened up in North Hollywood.
Really?
Store, yeah.
Is that the one where like you can walk in without a clerk or whatever, a cashier?
I don't know for sure. I didn't really go in there. It wasn't really I'm not the target audience, But I assume so. I assume if it's Amazon, they were talking about it. Yeah.
I went to that one in Seattle, and we did a little stunt where we proved it's really easy to just take whatever you want without paying for it, and it was really simple. I don't know if I can actually say exactly what we did. I may have already said it, but I said because I didn't want people to go do it. It's really, really simple to do. Yeah. But I was able to walk out and only pay for one thing out of like 10. And I should say in my account, we did pay for everything. We didn't steal anything. We just figured out a loophole and then made sure everything was paid up. But we proved that you could easily do this. I called the company, and when I explained what I did, they went, "Oh, we don't care." And the gist of it was that the amount of money they save by not having employees covers any potential loss from glitches in the system. That'll be your future. There will be just buildings. You walk in and grab stuff, and then it just deducts the crypto from your account. And if it's an error, nobody cares. Congratulations.
You jaywalk, you get fined. Money gets automatically taken out of your account.
That's right.
Commit wrong thing, your child can't go to school anymore.
You say a naughty word, PayPal takes a bunch of money from your financial account.
You can't get a plane ticket or train ticket anymore. Your internet service is cut down.
Right.
Already happening in China.
Right, exactly.
All right, my friends, if you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button and subscribe to this channel? Apparently some people have been unsubscribed. And become a member over at timcast.com. We're going to have a members-only show coming up for you at about 11 p.m. You don't want to miss it. We got a lot more fun stuff to talk about, a lot of creepy stuff to talk about, because you know how it gets a little spicy on the members-only show. So again, smash the like button. You can follow the show at TimCastIRL. You can follow me at TimCast. Drew, do you want to shout anything out?
No, just if you're interested in Fortitude Ranch, working for us, franchising or joining, it's www.fortituderanch.com.
Right on.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming, man.
I still have a gajillion things I want to talk about, and I usually talk about them on LukeUncensored.com. We're also, of course, implementing alternatives to PayPal. We got another second alternative that we're going to be implementing very soon. Today I made a video where I was screaming on the top of my lungs. I couldn't control myself. I couldn't hold it back. To watch that video, check it out on LukeUncensored.com. Thank you so much for having me. Great discussion. Thank you for the opinions.
Yeah, big time, man. Thanks. Thanks for clarifying that depleted uranium isn't considered tactical nuclear weaponry. Also, keep in mind, deflationary currency is the future of a sustainable currency, where the longer it sits there, the more it dissipates. So you want to keep it moving. Then we can make more of it when new people are born, so it encourages growth of humans. Of course, it's not just about the number of humans, it's about the value of the humans. So are you calculating human body heat to see how much crypto is produced? Let's find out, and let's do it together. I love you. See you later.
All right, and you guys can follow me on Instagram at surd.com, spelled out. I don't have anything on Twitter or anything. I might if Elon goes through with the buy. We'll see. But no, that's everything. Thank you.
Let's make a crypto where as soon as you're born, you get like 100 tokens. And then, like, everybody gets 100 tokens, and then when you're born, you get one, and then you can trade and stuff with it. But, like, there you go. You're alive here some month.
Yeah, it might be something like that. Like for every joule of heat your body produces, you get a crypto token added to your account or something.
But you got to be in the pod and eating the bugs. All right, everybody. We'll see you all over at timcast.com. Thanks for hanging out.
See ya.
It turns out that if you train a planarian and then cut their heads off, the tail will regenerate a brand new brain that still remembers the original information. I think planaria hold the answer to pretty much every question of life. For one thing, they're similar to our ancestors, so they have true symmetry, they have a true brain. They're not like our worms, they're a much more advanced life form. They have lots of different internal organs, but they're these little, they're about, maybe 2 centimeters in the centimeter to 2 in size. They have a head and a tail. And the first thing is planaria are immortal. So they do not age. There's no such thing as an old planarian. So that right there tells you that these theories of thermodynamic limitations on lifespan are wrong. It's not that, well, over time of everything degrades. No, planaria can keep it going for probably, how long have they been around? 400 million years, right? So these are so the planaria in our lab are actually in physical continuity with planaria that were here 400 million years ago.
The following is a conversation with Michael Levin, one of the most fascinating and brilliant biologists I've ever talked to.
Woo. No, it's not.
Yes, it
Security lockdown. Please evacuate the building immediately. Please remain in your test chambers and await further instructions from your lab attendant.
Yes.
I want this one's head!